Backer Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah on the physically unable to perform list, meaning he's out for the 2025 season. Owusu-Koramoah originally sustained a neck injury in Week 8 of the 2024 season, so something to keep an eye on there, and certainly feel for him not being able to get back on the field. All right, let's get to some more top stories. We got Dan Graziano here for that. Graz, what's going on with James Cook?
Not much, Laura. The Bills have given out a lot of contract extensions this offseason, but running back James Cook, coming off consecutive 1,000-yard seasons and having led the league in rushing touchdowns this past year, still does not have one. 1 year left on his deal at about $5.3 million. He has been public about his desire for a new contract. This is a Bills front office that has not historically liked to pay running backs big money. He has not been attending off-season workouts, but nothing mandatory has been missed yet. Steelers last week, as we know, traded away George Pickens to the Cowboys, leaving them with this crew at wide receiver for this year. They're high on Calvin Austin, a couple of their younger guys. Don't be surprised to see the Steelers poke around at potential trades or other outside acquisitions at wide receiver. A place like a Green Bay, where there might be a surplus of available receivers, might be one to watch there as the offseason moves along. And then, Laura, the big news from this weekend was the announcement of Derek Carr's retirement. Derek Carr, Saints quarterback, who's been dealing with a shoulder injury that would require surgery if he wanted to keep playing, announced on Saturday that instead he is going to retire from the NFL after 11 seasons. Hit $30 million in guaranteed salary coming his way this year, but has decided that is not worth it in terms of continuing his career and fighting through another shoulder surgery and recovery from that. So Derek Carr hanging it up after 11 years in the NFL.
Yeah, congratulations certainly on a great career by Derek Carr. But with Carr out, that leaves 3 quarterbacks on the Saints roster, and they have 0 wins in the NFL between them. Look at that, 3 zeros, goodness. Shough, okay, he's a rookie, so he hasn't had a chance yet. And Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener are a combined 0-7 in their careers. Kellen Moore, the head coach, talked this weekend about getting his young QBs up to speed.
I think naturally it's just reps. It's just reps and experience. And, again, there's going to be plenty of adversity and, moments of failure through a preseason and a training camp. And I think it's all about growth opportunities and continue to grow and continue to develop. And, Dak was a rookie in Dallas when he started, and he was obviously a 4th-round pick and probably wasn't anticipating being the starter that year. And so these guys all come from different paths and different navigations. And, we just want to give these guys an opportunity to go compete. And we feel like we got 3 really good ones.
The Dak comparison, an interesting one. Graz, what is the plan for Kellen Moore and the Saints at QB right now?
Open competition, Laura, and obviously Tyler Shough, the 40th pick in this year's draft, will have a good chance to win it. This is a new coaching staff. They don't have any history with Spencer Rattler or Jake Haener. I think everybody enters on equal footing. Tyler Shough, a highly experienced quarterback in terms of college football, and it's entirely possible he'll be ready to be the starter. It is a young quarterback room, as you mentioned, so don't be surprised if you see the Saints go out and look for maybe a veteran quarterback to add to the mix. A lot of times when teams are breaking in young quarterbacks, they like to have a veteran in the room to help the young guy along. I know Tyler Shough, maybe not as young as some of the other young quarterbacks entering the league, but still inexperienced and could benefit from that. So they could add a veteran, but right now it's an open competition between these 3 young guys.
Yeah, Tyler Shough, I think, is in probably the pole position because of his draft status, taken near the top of the 2nd round, and his pro readiness, which is part of the reason why I liked him. And I thought he made sense for a team like New Orleans, who needs a rookie to come in and potentially start right away. But I'll say this. Spencer Rattler was not given a fair chance last year. I know most people didn't watch Saints games, but he was playing behind an unbelievably banged up offensive line. It's a big part of why the Saints offense went off a cliff, and Chris Olave was not healthy for the vast majority of his starts. So he was really set up to fail. And I'm not saying that he deserves to be their starter or that he should win over Shough, but I'm saying when Graz says this is a quarterback competition, I believe him. I think that Spencer Rattler does deserve a chance to compete. He does have athleticism, toughness, arm strength, and I'm interested in seeing how this shakes out because I think Kellen Moore has a good history when it comes to working with young quarterbacks, and there's some interesting ones here.
Yeah, I want to take a different approach talking about the Saints, a kind of 30,000-foot view of this organization. I think now would be the perfect time to hit the reset button if I'm the New Orleans Saints organization. We've been talking about them being in a salary cap situation for years now. They went out and they got Derek Carr, hoping that, having a guy coming over from the Raiders who's, put up some pretty good numbers over his career, that he'll help elevate the organization and be a viable team in the NFC, contending for a championship. That failed. And so if you're the New Orleans Saints right now, you have a new coach. You got 3 inexperienced quarterbacks. To me, this would be the great time. This would be the perfect time to clean up your books and get your fiscal, your fiscal house in order.
Yeah, we've talked a lot, D. Wood, on this show about how they have cap issues. So I see what you're saying. The Saints' win total, by the way, moved from 6.5 to 5.5 at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Only the Browns with 4.5 have a lower win total for next season. So maybe they just outsmart us all, or they reset. Still to come, Travis Hunter has been lining up at wide receiver all camp. Is that the right move? Well, D. Wood thinks so. He'll explain why, and Graz will tell you exactly how they're handling the number 2 overall pick. That's coming your way next on NFL Live. We're counting down the Cowboys-Eagles opener, of course, with some of the best moments in Cowboys-Eagles history. Lots of them. Let's go to 1993. In Week 9, Emmitt Smith, you see him right there, running 237 yards in this game, breaking Tony Dorsett's team record for rushing yards in a game. The Cowboys won that game over the Eagles 23-10. More NFL Live after this.
You don't think Al Golden wants or needs Trey Henderson back on that defense and get to revitalize that defense? So it's just unfortunate that it's gotten to this point, because honestly, you need him on that defense to bring some type of juice off the edge.
Yeah, I mean, D. Wood, I agree. I think, Mina, you're going to agree too. But they did draft Shamar Stewart in the first round. Bit of a wild card in some ways. But is Hendrickson still indispensable for this defense?
Yes, no doubt. In part because of the type of player who Stewart is. He was an unbelievable athlete. I think he got like a 10 out of 10 in relative athletic score at the combine. He plays really hard, but he had historically low sack reduction for a first-round edge rusher. The hope with him is you're taking a big swing, and over time he can develop and his pass rush moves and his plan and hit that ceiling that the Bengals likely believe is so high. That plan doesn't work if there's not a proven pass rusher across from him, in my opinion. I like the pick if he gets to play opposite Trey Hendrickson and work on his game and maybe even learn from Hendrickson. I don't like it if you're expecting Stewart to come in and get sacks right away after he didn't get them at the college level. So I'm apprehensive about all of this, and I do think those players, that pick works best if Hendrickson is on the field.
This was before the deals got done with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, but Joe Burrow, even at the Super Bowl, was mentioning Hendrickson as part of who needed to be paid. And there is Joe Burrow. He is out on the field, of course, for the Bengals. Let's have a good week, number 9. He usually does. Fresh off the Met Gala and all that jazz. All right, we get a lot more coming your way here on NFL Live. When we come back, Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel have been the talk of camp, but Mina believes Cleveland's got a lot of work to do if they want their rookie QBs to succeed. She'll tell you what that looks like. Plus,